why don't we create the bank? And when we started the bank back in 2002, there were no longer any banks with the word York in their name. And at one time there were double-digit numbers of banks that were headquartered, going way back, headquartered here in York County. At the time that we opened, there were only two. And since that time, one of them got acquired and got merged into someone else, and the other bank remains independent, and we're independent. So there's only two of us that are independent here. Our slogan, because we live here too, isn't just a slogan, it's who we are. That we live here too. I mean, we've been raised in many cases. We've raised our families here. We are raising our families here. And so the York community and organic growth within York is extremely important to us. Anyway, obviously starting a local bank and a business that was started here, there are a couple of really extremely important things from a succession planning standpoint. And that's one, we wanted to convey to the marketplace and to the community that we're here for the long haul. And so creating a long-term legacy goes well beyond being the original founder and what's the succession that is going to assure the local community that that's going to take place. And then secondly, the other thing is continuity of our business model and our value proposition for our customers and for our shareholders. And so doing succession like we're doing, we wanted to make sure that we delivered on that. And so it's extremely important that we look to the extent that we could to promote from within and do succession planning from within.
But from day one, we've been doing things to prepare me for that ultimate succession.
Yes.
And so that I joined the bank in April of 2008, and some of those stepping stones along the way. So initially, when I joined the bank, I was the chief credit officer, and over time, and I cannot remember the exact years anymore at this point in time, but over time, I assumed responsibility for the business services area of the bank, which would be the commercial banking segment. Actually, before that, the mortgage area was part of my responsibility. So in 2010, we launched a residential mortgage lending area. We started with 2 people. I've grown to more than 20 now, I think. So that was part of my expanded responsibility back in 2010. Then business services, and then a position that we called Chief Community Banking Officer, which meant that most of the revenue lines of the bank were reporting into me, in addition to all the other things and all the other hats that I had to wear before. Mm-hmm. And then president in April of 15, I guess. Yeah. So it's been a series of stepping stones along the way. In April of 15, I didn't know that on January 1st of 2017 I'd be taking over as CEO, but again, it was a matter of the bank performing and working through a long-term succession and career path.
Great.
But we still have the original board members from when the bank started, which is unusual. I mean, the bank was started in 2002, celebrating our 15th year anniversary this year, and every board member that was here at the beginning is still here, which is really a testament to their commitment to the organization.
We're basically looking to make sure that we've got industries covered and diversity from gender, age, ethnicity is one that we continue to work towards, and work is never finished as we do that, but it's we want to make sure that we have as diverse of a board as possible, and that there are certain qualifications that are extremely important to that, and certain representative attributes that are factored into that as well.
So we know, and every year we go through a board planning process with the individuals. We're meeting with the board members, understanding what their needs are, what their expectations are, what does their horizon look like. And as we have people that we know over time are going to potentially want to exit for personal reasons, We will be looking at either grooming people from our councils. It could be somebody that we haven't yet identified, but we're continually out looking and trying to build relationships, source leads, so that we are prepared for the time when something happens in terms of board makeup. The millennials are our future. When we look at our customer base is beginning to shift more and more towards millennials. And who better to understand millennials as a customer than millennials that are associates at York Traditions Bank.
When we first started the bank, it was with 13 people. 77% of our our associate population were boomers. And if you look at our population now at 113 people, it's split across boomers, Gen Xers, and millennials. And so we're constantly striving not only to get younger, but having a mix so that you have a representative group and you have people that have experiences.
A lot of it, though, has been informal mentoring, informal training, and prior to having a training department. And now we're getting much more regimented about it. I still can't sit here and hand somebody here's a roadmap to success. So from teller to CEO, here's what you have to do. We haven't gotten, but then again, I've worked in really big banks and they don't have that kind of roadmap either. But it might be from teller to branch manager. And we can do that within our organization. We're getting more formal about that. What's that roadmap look like?
But we created a mentorship program that is basically it's a program that is jointly owned by the associates that choose to step forth and be a part of that. And then there's the management and our training departments, kind of roll on that. So, that's kind of one of the starting things. But I think one of the most important things that we do is that a part of our performance planning process every year, there is a component of that. Part of that process in the ideal setting is that the supervisors, as they work with the people that are reporting to them, are basically level setting what that person's interests are and where they're at that stage. It's a step up along the way on how can you develop people, how can you create job fulfillment within the position or the family of jobs that they're in, and how can you support career progression is all a part of that. And so the IDPs end up taking a much more acute look into the next year. Here are some things that are a part of the development that are going to get that person ready for. It could be their next point. I mean, they could be in a position that they're at a place on, I'd really like to move into this position within the next 3 years. Well, we need to make sure that we're doing the things to challenge them, and they're doing the things that are important to get them ready for that. So.